Hello everybody, welcome to a new episode of Sport Talk. I am your host, Evan, and today I'm joined by Zach and our new guest, Joel. Glad to have you on. And today, we have a very big NFL episode for you guys. Lots of stuff has been happening this last couple of days, and we're going to break it all down for you. But before we start that, make sure to follow us on YouTube at Sport Talk and TikTok and Instagram at Sport Talk Podcast. And today we are going to be talking about the crazy NFL trades that have happened the last couple of days, our NFL Combine reviews, and our free agency predictions. So we'll get into it with the NFL trades. The very first trade, the biggest trade in my opinion, was the Russell Wilson to the Broncos trade. So Russell Wilson got traded to the Broncos for a Noah Fant, Drew Lock, Shelby Harris, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-round pick. So what are you guys' thoughts on that trade? We'll start with you, Zach.
I think it was really good for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks, it seems like, are rebuilding.
I would agree with that.
Which is good. I mean, I saw that the Seahawks, they don't have a single player now left on their roster that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that Super Bowl roster,
Bobby.
all of them are gone because they released Bobby Wagner.
And that's another big one. Big thing that happened for them. Bobby
Yeah.
Wagner gone.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I mean, that's another thing we can
Yeah.
get to with free agency. He's going to be a big free agent.
Yeah.
Have a lot of market with him. But all I can say now is that with that is the AFC quarterbacks. It's just the AFC West in general.
Yeah.
You got Patrick Mahomes. You got Russ, Herbert. Even Derek Carr's in there too.
Yeah.
Derek Carr is not. People don't give him that much credit.
Yeah.
He's good, but like
He's not to the level
He's
of those
good, but
three.
he's still the slouch of that
Yeah,
division.
because those are three
I mean,
elite quarterbacks,
Yeah.
and then you have Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Who's, just a
Exactly.
good starter.
Derek Carr is not elite, but he is a good starting quarterback, I will say.
And so piggyback off that though, all 4 of those teams last year. I mean, you can even consider the Broncos in there, and they were 7-10 with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater, your quarterback,
Yeah.
and everybody's right there.
Yeah.
Just
I will say the only thing the Broncos did lose that I think was a pretty big piece for that offense was Noah Fant.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, they have everybody else with a Super Bowl champion quarterback who is still playing at a very high level.
Yeah.
And another thing with that, going off the Fant thing, they got. I'm not even going to try to say his last name.
Albert O.
Albert O. Yes, Albert O. He has if we go fantasy wise, he has tight end 1 upside.
Yeah.
He's a good tight end. I don't think they're missing much because honestly, they drafted Fant in the first round, and he really hasn't produced that much.
I mean,
In my opinion,
I liked Fant.
I did too.
But I feel like having Alberto it made him expendable.
well, and I think also, like, giving him up to get Russell Wilson was definitely a far bigger upside than a downside. I mean, Russell Wilson is a Super Bowl champion. I mean, and I think the Broncos, like, honestly, every team in that division besides the Raiders are Super Bowl contenders, I think, honestly. I mean, the Chargers, I think, are a little bit on the outside, but they could still maybe. The Broncos and the Chiefs are definitely now.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are, the Broncos now are.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with them trading like Fant, I think them having a very good receiving core helps that as well because they have Judy, Patrick, Sutton, and then KJ Hamler's coming back. So even if you have
He was the fast guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you have Alberto, who's not like a top 5, top 10 tight end, that the receivers on the outside is going to make up for that.
Yeah, they don't even really need a top tier
Yeah.
tight end because their receiving core is nasty enough.
But I do think, like you said, that giving up that much for Russell Wilson was definitely worth it.
Yeah, I would say. I was a little surprised that they gave him up, though, because I was like, oh, wow, he's one of their best players. But it was still definitely good, though, because they a quarterback was the one piece they really needed, I feel like. And now with that filled, they have a shot at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I was surprised there was even, players involved, because usually when you see big trades, it's, all picks and then for one player. So I was...
Well, there was a lot of picks involved, too.
Yeah, so that's why I think the trade was so big, because they got 3 players plus 5 picks, which I think
But, I mean,
should
honestly,
help
though,
them.
I think, some people may think it was rough on the Seahawks part, but I think it was pretty solid both ways.
I agree with that because, you got to look at Seattle and what they did in the past. They traded all their picks to go out and get guys like Jamal Adams, and
which was not. I mean,
he's good, but like you traded away so much draft capital. But now with this trade, you're getting a lot of that back.
Yeah.
And it's perfect because obviously the Seahawks are very clearly trying to rebuild their team now.
Yes.
I mean, so I think having however many draft picks that they have now, it's going to really help them out to build a. Yeah. If they hit on this draft, they'll have a good young team to start, the rebuild with.
Yeah. And I know you had talked about like. I don't know if they see maybe Malik Willis as their potential guy of the future.
Could,
and have like Drew Lock as like your bridge quarterback or Geno Smith just for 1 year to develop like a Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, any of those guys.
Yeah.
Even though this year's draft class for quarterback isn't something to be amazed with, but it's an idea.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple guys that are. I mean, I think Malik Willis is a very good athlete.
Yeah, I think he'd not. Like, he'd be he's the closest player in this draft to, like, a Russell Wilson.
That's what I was thinking, too. That's why, Seahawks might be a good pick for him. But, I think Desmond Ritter's pretty good, too.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder would be nice.
I mean, these guys, they aren't... It's not a quarterback draft, no, but, like, they aren't slouches, though.
Yeah, there's some solid guys, but there's no, like, Joe Burrows or Justin Herbert.
No, there's definitely no Herberts or Burrows or anything, but they're solid.
That'll be next year with like
Stroud,
which is one thing.
Yeah.
If they let's say they don't draft the quarterback and they just stick with Drew Lock for this year, they're gonna suck probably. And so then if they suck enough, then they would be in prime position to get Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, which they might like better than the quarterbacks that they have this year.
But also, it's like, do you really want to risk that though? Because I mean, unless you're purposely tanking, which I don't think you should.
Yeah.
You might not be that bad to get those guys. You know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, it just depends what they want to do. I've also seen some people say that maybe they could trade for like Deshaun Watson or get one of those like filler players like Bridgewater or Winston.
Well, if they get Deshaun Watson, I don't think that's much of a filler player.
No.
What he meant was like. Deshaun Watson's that big guy.
Yeah.
Other than that, you can get a guy like we were talking about, Bridgewater, Drew Lock, just one guy
Winston
to fill in 1 year.
Yeah.
It's just for 1 year to piggyback.
So it's basically if they want to go full rebuild or if they just want to like kind of reset and then kind of just build from what they have. Because I've also heard talks that they might. Some people think they should trade like Tyler Lockett. I think if they do that, then they're going full rebuild.
I think they should go full rebuild. I mean, the Seahawks that were really good, Super Bowl, like those guys and the Super Bowl contender Seahawks, those guys are gone. They're old. Yeah. I think it's time for a rebuild. So I think trading Tyler Lockett would honestly be another good move for them. They've already acquired all these picks for giving away Russell Wilson. They released Bobby Wagner. I mean, I think it's time to.
Yeah.
They're going to need some work on the offensive line, though, too.
Their line's terrible.
That's their biggest hole.
Their line's awful.
Yeah. Like, watching Russell Wilson scramble every 5 seconds,
their line is terrible.
Yeah. It's bad.
So that's like one thing. So they traded for pick 9. So if they could potentially just draft like a tackle or a guard there and then wait on quarterback if they don't want to pick one.
And honestly, 9. they need help on both sides of the ball. Yeah. Like both sides of the offense and defensive line.
Yeah.
So you could go edge rush too. They got a lot of options to go. They could go corner, Sauce maybe, Gardner.
Bring the Legion of Boom back.
I think for the Seahawks, I think it would be smartest to fix their line though, because I mean, if you have a good enough O line, you can put. I mean, you don't have to have a stud quarterback to put back there. If you have a good enough line, you can put a Bridgewater or a Lock back there, and he'll at least be average,
sufficient enough.
Yeah, I mean, he'll at least be sufficient if you have a good line. But if you ignore the line and you don't fix it, and you have a Lock back there, you're going to be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just going to be how kind of the board goes.
Yeah.
Because there could be guys that they're eyeing right now that might jump up with their pro days or people that they think might slip and then they won't. So, I mean, I don't know what they're really planning on doing.
Yeah.
But I do think if they do, I think I'm with you. I think they should rebuild because they're not in a position to win right now.
No.
And I think I don't enjoy. If I were an owner or like a GM, I wouldn't want my team to be like mediocre. I'd rather just be really good or like bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't trade DK because he's still super young.
No, definitely keep DK. He's like, what, 23, 24?
Yeah.
He's a freak of nature.
No, DK Metcalf is a guy that needs to be part of this
Yeah,
team.
no, I would definitely keep
absolutely.
him. But like Tyler Lockett, he's getting up there in age, still a heck of a receiver. You could trade him to a contending team. He'd probably like that better than playing on Seattle.
For sure.
And then obviously you need to address line on both ends. And they still have Jamal Adams, which I don't think they're getting rid of him.
No.
Because I don't think anybody really wants him, or I don't think his value is super high anymore.
No. But I think if they went either line or quarterback, I think that'd be a smart pick for him. I mean, but it also depends if they have a quarterback they really want in this draft. I mean,
I think the Pete Carroll era is about done.
That's what I think too.
I think they'll give him.
He's also the oldest coach in the NFL.
Exactly.
So
he doesn't look that old though.
No, he doesn't look that old.
Like literally, if you look back to like when they won that Super Bowl.
He looks about the same.
He looks basically the same. It's crazy.
I think he's like 70 something
at least.
Like he's like really getting up there. So I think the Seahawks are going to be kind of overhauling everything, coaching staff and
full revamp.
Yeah, which is good though. I think it's time for that. They had their era. You know, the past 10 years from 2010 to 2020. That was the Seahawks' time. They were good all 10 of those years. Super Bowl contender, Super Bowl champion, playoff team, all 10 years. They had their time. I think it's time to rebuild now.
Yeah, and I think it's going to like the Broncos side of this. I think it's good for Russell Wilson because obviously I feel like he didn't want he just loves Seattle. But it was time for him to leave because he wasn't going to go anywhere. And obviously, like we said, he had an awful line. And then he got hurt last year. And with that line, it probably would have happened again.
Well, I think, like you said, the Seahawks are not in a position to win right now.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson is
in a position to win.
Yeah. So I think, I think it was good for both parties because the Seahawks need to revamp. And Russell Wilson is now going to a team that could win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
It's going to be fun watching all those AFC West teams beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see who dukes it out. My bet is still the Chiefs probably win the division, but I think it's gonna be very interesting though. I think the Chiefs take the division still, but
I feel like
Broncos.
I feel like teams are starting to catch up on Kansas City though.
They are, but they're still really
figuring
good.
things out.
Yeah,
and is the only thing I would say that would prevent that is if Mahomes continues to grow. Take that check down because, I mean, look at the AFC Championship game. He tried to make the big play, and that's why the Bengals came back and won that game.
Yeah. Their defense stepped up in that game.
Yes, but it doesn't help that he's trying to make the big play. He tried, like, right before half, 21, they had the chance to go up. All you got to do is kick the field goal.
Yeah.
And you're
got a little greedy.
Got greedy, and Eli Apple made a play.
Eli Apple. But no, I think my bet is still the Chiefs take it this year. But I think the Broncos make a good push for it because I think the Chiefs. I agree with what you said. I think teams are starting to catch up to the Chiefs, but they are still really good. Mm-hmm. I think they've got.
They got a couple more years.
Yeah. They've got a couple more years of domination. I would say. I don't know about Super Bowl, but I think they're going to take the division. But I think the Broncos are going to make a really good push for it, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I think the Chargers. Honestly, I could see all three of those teams making the playoffs next year.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chiefs, I think, win the division and lock a top 4 seed, and then Broncos and Chargers, I think, could probably make it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the Broncos more than the Chargers, but I think the Chargers for sure can make it.
Yeah. The only question I have for the Broncos is they just got a new coach in Nathaniel Hackett, and he was the OC at the Packers, so I don't know much about him. So I know he's more of an offensive driven coach, so we'll kind of see how that plays out. But I mean, he has the pieces to do great things, and I believe he will.
That defense was top 3.
Yeah, because with Vic Fangio, their defense was really good, and it might take a couple steps down because they have more of an offensive-minded head coach now.
Really interesting to see this Broncos team this year. It's going to be a different.
Plus, I think they still have some money because I've heard them in rumors to get Von Miller back and stuff.
That would be awesome.
So
if they got Von Miller back, they'd almost certainly win the Super Bowl.
He's been making hints at it.
Yeah,
I know. I saw that recently. I was like, oh wow. But let's just think if they get Von Miller back and things go their way, who can compete with that team? That's pretty much a super team. I mean,
you can consider it like the Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I was just about to ask,
who's going to compete with that?
Yeah. So do you think that they're going to basically be the Rams of like this upcoming season, where they were good and then they just needed that one more piece, and that was that elite quarterback that they traded for them.
They very well could be.
I agree with that.
I'm just like, who's going to compete with that team? I mean,
I don't know.
That's a really good team,
Yeah.
You got a bunch of young corners on the other side too. Patrick Surtain.
Surtain's really good.
Surtain's a stud.
Now, I mean, I think
Simmons is over there.
There are several other teams in the AFC that are just right there, I mean, like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals. All three of those teams are right there, Super Bowl contending teams. But if the Broncos build that team, it's going to be tough for any of those three teams to beat them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's tough to beat anybody in the NFL. So it's just going to be like extra tough.
Yeah, it's just crazy how quickly the AFC has just gotten so dominant.
The AFC is a dominant conference now. I mean, I think at least next year, whoever wins the AFC wins the Super Bowl. I mean, whether that's the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Bills, the Bengals. I could see any of those four teams winning the AFC again this year.
Yeah,
and if any of those four, whichever of those four teams, if they win the AFC, I think would win the Super Bowl.
So another trade that happened in that division was the Chargers traded for Khalil Mack, and the Bears got a 2022 second-round pick and a 2023 sixth-round pick. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, trade? I didn't really look into that too much. I just saw that.
Yes, they got
I mean, I haven't been on Instagram as much recently, and I just kind of saw that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But from what I saw, that's a terrible trade for the Bears. I saw.
But are you sure, though?
From my first look and my first thoughts, I said that's awful for the Bears. Great for the Chargers.
I think it's great for. Sorry,
you're good.
I think it's great for both. I honestly, personally, I think it's great for both teams because I mean the Bears this past year traded away their capital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and obviously they're in a rebuild too.
Yeah,
and so honestly, they don't see Khalil Mack as their long-term plan.
Yeah.
He's only got he's what 31.
Yeah, he's
is he 31?
Yeah, he's
31.
Okay, see, I thought he was more in the late 20s side. So that's why I was like,
he's in his
why are
30s.
they trading away this guy? He's still got several more years on him.
Well, people are saying like, oh, Khalil Mack's washed. That dude's literally last year he got hurt. You know that happens. The year before he was an All-Pro.
Yeah,
that's why I was saying I don't think Khalil Mack's done. I don't think he's washed up. I think that's why I thought I was like this was not a good trade. I mean, for the Chargers, my immediate thought, without really thinking or doing any research or looking into it, my immediate thought was the Chargers got an absolute steal.
Yeah,
that was my
which
immediate
that
thought.
might be how it turns out.
Yeah,
it could.
But
be. But I back to like that. Just like it, I think it benefited both. Just because like Bears don't have a first rounder this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they get a second rounder this year from the Chargers, and that's a mid-round.
So they have two second rounders.
They have
now?
two second rounders now. Yes. So, and in this class, there's so much depth. Mm-hmm. Like you could be getting a starting day one guy
besides quarterback, of course.
Besides quarterback,
which is they don't need.
They don't need a quarterback. Though.
They need like line.
Well, I think Justin Fields. I mean, we'll see. I'm not blaming anything about last season on Justin Fields because Matt Nagy's a terrible coach and he had an awful line. But I do think this year now Justin Fields has to prove and step up and play this year.
Yeah.
And I think under new leadership,
I think he'll be better.
I think things will change.
I think it will too. I'm just saying that we still don't know yet if Justin Fields is the long-term guy.
I feel like that was this whole past quarterback class. Like we just don't because there was no quarterback that really stood out to me.
Honestly, the last draft class that there are guys that are that is a franchise guy.
It's 2020. Yeah,
Burrow and Herbert are both franchise guys that will play for the long term. They have proved they can do it at extremely high levels already in their career. So young.
I still think this past class, I think you still gotta. I think Trevor Lawrence. I think you get a little bit more help. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be a stud.
No, they were all just put in bad situations.
Yes, exactly.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think Justin Fields and Justin Fields.
He was in decent.
He was in a Mac Jones was in a good situation.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about Mac Jones. Jones, Fields, and
we don't
Lawrence
talk about the Patriots.
Are all going to be solid. But yeah, I mean, Fields and Lawrence were in really bad situations, so we can't really judge them. Yeah. All I was saying was that I think he's still an unproven guy. Yeah. We haven't really seen what he can do with a good team around him.
I agree. And back to get back to the Chargers with this trade. Chargers got Joey Bosa on one side, Khalil Mack on the other. All they need is that help up the middle. Interior, get some linebacking help.
That's exactly what they needed, because their issue last year was that front four, and they addressed that
already.
All they really had though last year, it was Joey Bosa.
Yeah,
you can't have just one dude going after the guy, going after the quarterback. He was their only source.
I know. It's just like wild to me. I feel like these teams, like these guys, like all these AFC teams are building like just super teams right now. Like the Broncos are building a super team. The Chargers are getting there.
And then you still got established teams like the Bills
and the Chiefs. You're like, geez, man.
The Bengals are still probably up there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get nervous every time someone better gets in the AFC.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, as a Bengals fan, I'm seeing all of these other teams just totally stack their teams, and I'm like, oh crap, we're never gonna win a Super Bowl.
You're waiting on the Bengals to start making moves this offseason.
I know. It'll happen soon, hopefully.
Yeah, but I think it's exciting to see some of these like moves though, because the Chargers, the Chargers are a cool team. I really enjoy watching Justin Herbert, and I enjoy watching the Chargers. So it's nice to see them making these good moves like this. Together. And Broncos, I think they'll be better. I've never really been I've never paid much attention to the Broncos, but with Russell Wilson there, I think they'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
The last time I really paid attention to the Broncos was when Tebow was there.
Oh, yeah.
I started when Peyton Manning was there, when they went to the Super Bowl. I obviously watched that, but I didn't follow them.
I was rooting for him in that Super Bowl, but I've really never followed him. But I think with Russell Wilson, I think they'll be more fun to watch now with Russell Wilson and stuff. So that AFC West is going to be quite the
show.
Yeah, I mean, Khalil Mack on the Chargers. I think it's.
I forgot to mention this about the Russell Wilson trade, but there was a report that came out that Washington offered 3 first-round picks, and they didn't take it.
Wow. Yeah. Why wouldn't they take that?
I don't know. I guess maybe the 3 players plus.
You got to also remember that's trading.
Also,
within the
it was
NFC.
trading within the division.
Oh, that's true.
Within the conference, yeah.
Well, okay, I like him with the Broncos better. I'm just saying, you would think besides the fact that they're both in the NFC, that would clearly be a better deal. 3 first-round picks.
Didn't Russ have a no-trade clause?
He did.
So that was probably why. He probably didn't want to play for Washington.
Okay, yeah, that's true. If I'm him, I'm not going there.
No.
The Commanders.
Yeah, well, that leads us into the next trade. They did actually get a quarterback.
They did. They not a Russell Wilson quarterback, but they did.
I saw one thing. I saw a TikTok. It was a Washington fan, and then it was a guy, and he goes, "We just got a Pro Bowl quarterback." And he goes, "Was it Russ?" And he's like, "It was Carson Wentz." No. But yeah, so they traded for Carter. They traded and received Carson Wentz, and they gave up a 3rd-round pick, which becomes a 2nd-round pick if Wentz plays 70% of the snaps, which will probably happen. Yeah. And then they got a 2nd-round pick and another 3rd-round pick.
So the Colts more than likely got 2 second-round picks and a 3rd-round pick?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And then the Washington got a 2nd, a 7th, and Carson Wentz.
I mean, that might be a solid trade for the Colts, in a year or two.
So
right now they're kind of in a.
So it was a 2nd-round swap, and then Carson Wentz for a 2nd and a 3rd.
Yeah,
maybe in 1 or 2 years that might pay out well for the Colts if they draft well. But currently they're kind of in a hole because they don't have a quarterback on their team.
Yeah.
Which leads to the option of Jimmy G.
That's what I've heard.
That would be. I think that's their best move.
I think that's a good move for the Niners too.
I think that's a good move for both because Jimmy Garoppolo is not the kind of quarterback that's going to win you the game throwing, but he would be good in the Colts offense.
Exactly.
Where Jonathan Taylor wins you the game. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like within the Colts offense, I think he would fit well because the Colts offense is more of like Jonathan Taylor is going to win you the games. It's not going to be your quarterback. It's going to be Jonathan Taylor. And I think that would fit well with Jimmy Garoppolo, honestly. And, with the 49ers, they just drafted Trey Lance. Trey Lance is probably going to be pretty solid. So
it's Trey Lance time, baby.
Yeah, and I think that's exciting. I think Trey Lance is way more dynamic than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to add another element to that offense, which is going to be fun to watch.
Going back to the Commander side of this is definitely Wentz's last chance.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
If he doesn't do anything, he's
Once
done.
you have played for 3 different teams
in like 3 seasons,
you're done. I mean, he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
This is it.
I wish him luck, but at the same time, it's like
I wish him luck as well. All the best.
Go back
but
to
you are playing on a horrible team, and this is your chance. This is all you got.
back to your season when he tore his ACL, but
yeah,
they made the playoffs. Nick Foles comes in. Bring that back. Come on, man.
Yeah, he's gonna. This is it.
Yeah, I'm not very high on Carson Wentz. I was like, he's okay, and then I watched him last season. I'm like, no, he's terrible.
I mean, he's. I would say he's okay at best.
No.
He's inconsistent. The times where he plays well, it's like, oh, this guy's not god awful.
No, I mean he's better than some.
One of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
multiple times.
Yeah,
plenty of times.
Did the Colts get off his money, or are they still going to be paying him? Because if they got off, that would be big.
I don't know how that worked out.
You know what's tough for the Colts, though, I think, is that they have had a different starting quarterback for the past, 5 years
seasons?
Now?
Yeah.
You can't do that. You got to find.
Well, that's the same with Washington too. For Terry
Oh,
McLaurin's entire career, he's had a different quarterback every year.
You've got to. Getting a franchise quarterback is arguably the most important thing in the NFL.
No, that's what I was.
You have. The Colts and the Commanders, they have got to find a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
And I said Jimmy Garoppolo would be a good fit for the Colts right now.
But he wouldn't be your franchise guy.
No, they have to draft a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year, but next year. If the Colts want to have success down the road, they have to draft a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Same with the Commanders. They have to.
I think if they don't go for Jimmy G, I think they could get like Desmond Ridder, who I think might. Yeah. I don't think he could be their franchise guy, but I think he would be a solid enough option to kind of start day one and not be a total like project player.
No, but I think getting a franchise quarterback is the most important thing in the NFL. And the Commanders sure as heck did not get one with Carson Wentz.
No,
I mean, I think If the Colts get Jimmy Garoppolo this year, that is an immediate fix for this season. But they've got to draft a quarterback in the first round or something. They have to get a franchise quarterback.
Yeah,
both teams do.
I just looked that up. The Commanders did take on that entire contract.
So the Colts got rid of all that money.
Got rid of all that money
because
he
was it like
28.3 mil.
That's big.
That makes it even better for the Colts.
Yeah,
one of the big reasons why is because on heading into next week with free agency, March 18th. Wentz was guaranteed money. So
they had to get off him quick.
Yes. They had to think fast.
That works.
But
that
if you
works
look,
out pretty well.
If you look back at the trade that they did last offseason to get him, they basically traded him for a first-round pick and then flipped him for like a second and a third.
Yeah.
So that doesn't look great.
Exactly.
No, but they did also get $28 million.
True, but if they didn't trade for him, they wouldn't have had that $28 million anyway.
Yeah. No, I think it was dumb. I mean, I don't think the Colts should have did this in the first place. But I think them and the Commanders need to get off the idea of honestly, and the Broncos too. I mean, Russell Wilson. I mean, he'll be good for a couple seasons, but he's not young. So I mean, these teams need to get off the idea of an immediate fix and think more of we need to draft a franchise quarterback here that's going to be with us for a while. I don't know. That's just what I think. I mean, the Bengals drafted a franchise quarterback and he's going to be there for 15 years. I mean, that's the long haul. Chargers did that.
The Jags did too.
The Chiefs did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you've got to draft a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
I think the immediate fix thing. I mean, the Rams did it and it worked, but it might not work.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
And if it does, it'll work for a season or two. I think Russell Wilson's great right now, but I think the Broncos still should be looking into drafting a quarterback at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, but I think because this Super Bowl was basically a tale of two halves. It was the get the win now quarterback, and then the quarterback that you built from the draft.
Yeah.
And I think since the Rams obviously won, I think and in some general managers' eyes, some owners' eyes, you would rather get that one guy to get that one Super Bowl and then not be good for a while than banking on a young guy to do well and like potentially not even getting a Super Bowl.
I can see both sides of that, but to me, what the Bengals did is more of a long-term thing. Like that is the kind of thing it's that's going to get you
like sustained
multiple,
success than like just quick success.
Yeah, like that's what's going to get you multiple Super Bowls or like many years of playoffs and success and stuff. The Rams, like, they won now, and honestly, Bengals definitely could have and should have won that game. Yeah. But I mean, the Rams, okay, they won one. Now they aren't going to win one for a while because
just depends on what they're able to bring back this year, and if they can build upon that.
But the other thing you have to think about is that even if teams like that are able to bring these guys back for a year or two, they're seasoned veterans, so the max you're going to have with them is maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Von Miller's like 32. I mean, like, he's not going to be playing much longer.
It's just that thing if you value that one championship more, or if you want to just have like sustained success and try to win multiple.
And I mean, in my opinion, and I'm not saying this because I like the Bengals. I'm saying this just in general.
No, I agree with what you're
way more on the side of building through the draft, building for the long haul.
I agree.
I'm really not a big fan of building that super team for that 1 year. It'll get you one, and that's great, but you build a super team to get there.
Yeah.
Like, I am way more towards building your team through the draft, through free agency, like building your team, and then, climbing the mountain, getting there. That's what I'm more for. And by doing that, you have a better shot of winning multiple Super Bowls and getting sustained success through multiple years.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of it, because I'm more of an NBA guy, I think of when the Raptors traded for Kawhi Leonard back in 2019, and then they ended up winning the championship, and then he just left them. And
he played for 1 year.
But if you ask Raptors fans, would you have not done the trade because he left? They go, no, I would do it 10 out of 10 times because I won that one championship. Granted, they have never won one before, so it's a lot more.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they're not going to win a championship probably for another couple of years unless they get some big guy. But like I said, it's honestly just personal preference. It's just how there's no one way that you're like, okay, this works and this is the only way it works. They both work.
Yeah,
it's the Rams. But I do agree with you. I think that me personally, I would draft the quarterback, build him, and then build my team around him, rather than going out and making a big trade and do that. But with a team in kind of like the Broncos scenario, where they have that like set core, I think they were like they're at the peak of like about to win now, and I think them getting like an established veteran Super Bowl championship quarterback is helping them more than if they were to draft somebody this year.
I think it also depends on what scenario your team's in.
Exactly.
Because if you're in the Broncos situation and the Rams, honestly, and you have everything and you're just missing that one piece, and that one piece is a quarterback, then okay, I can see that. But I'm more towards starting at the bottom and just building it up. Yep. That's what I'm more for, because I think that's what the Patriots did, and look, and they are the best dynasty of football ever. I mean, so like, I think I don't know. I think it's like you build a super team, you win this year, that's great, you got it. But whereas a team that builds they might not win it immediately, but they have a shot to win multiple.
Yep. I
agree. It won't be immediate, but they have a chance to win a lot.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so that was all of the trades that happened these last couple of days, and like Joel said, free agency starts on Wednesday, so a lot of stuff is going to be really ramping up. But we're going to take a step back to a couple weeks ago, or I guess last week, NFL Combine. That happened the last week. The thing that I got most out is this is a freaking fast class.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Every position is blazing.
I know, it's ridiculous. But Joel, we'll start with you because I know you watched a majority of it. So what were your thoughts on the Combine, and if you have any standouts or guys that you thought didn't perform as well as you thought they would?
So let's just get this out of the way. All of the Georgia boys, outstanding.
They showed
all you can say. That defense that they had, You got Trayvon Walker. You got Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt, Lewis Cine, who's going to be a late first, early second at safety. They got corners. Everybody, all of their Nakobe Dean, all of them performed well. I mean, look at Jordan Davis, 340, and running a 4.8.
That guy is
ridiculous.
Freak.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, that guy is insane.
And then, just to piggyback off that, I thought Malik Willis had a really good day combine. He had a great combine. And then you watch just throwing those receivers too. Garrett Wilson, stud. Traylon Burks was a little iffy for me. Don't get me wrong, I think Traylon Burks is going to be a stud. He's a first round talent, no doubt in my mind. But it's just, I was expecting a little more because I've heard comparisons of him to Debo. And from this past year, like watching Debo, I'm like, I really didn't see that.
Yeah.
So,
Garrett Wilson is the receiver of this class. Now, Jameson Williams, though. Jameson Williams.
I would agree with that. My thing is, there's people that are very high on Drake London. Yeah, the USC wide receiver.
I've seen him.
He's like 6'3".
Yeah.
I've seen him mocked over a lot of like.
I think Garrett Wilson is still probably the best one in this class. I think he has the highest ceiling.
I think so.
He is a athletic stud. He has the highest ceiling. Jameson Williams is also a stud. He's very good as well.
And he's coming back really good off of that ACL.
Well, I think whoever takes him is going to get a steal because he won't be drafted as high now because he tore his ACL.
Exactly.
So he'll fall to second round, and that is going to be a steal.
He'll probably be late first.
I think he's still going to go in the first.
Late first,
but
though. He won't be top 10, top 15 he was going to. He'll go late, and that's going to be a steal.
You got to think, too, though.
I've seen the Saints mocked him a lot.
Yes.
I think that would be
I've seen Saints taking him, and, of course, you're going to get the mocks of the Ohio State boys. Because they love their Ohio State guys.
They do. Yeah, they do.
But my thing is, I think Jameson, he is going to – I could see him going to a place like the Chiefs. Imagine Jameson Williams matched up.
Tyreek Hill.
Jameson Williams was at Ohio State too, wasn't he?
Yeah,
yes,
he transferred from
that would probably be the two fastest outside receivers put together. Yeah,
and I've also seen that. I've seen that one, and I've seen him going with the Eagles. Devontae and Jameson match that up together
with your other Alabama quarterback.
Yes. And then I would say to go back to just the combine, a guy that really stood out to me was it's Tyreek Woolen. Yeah, dude was nuts.
Where's he from? Is it UTEP? Is that where he's from? Or
I think it's UTEP.
All I know is that I've never heard of this guy until the combine. He won a 4-2.
His stock is gonna go up easy.
Think he'll be a second or a third or what?
I think they're going to value that speed, and he's got some height on him too, I think.
Yeah, I think
maybe
he's 6'3".
Maybe. I don't remember the exact on that, but he basically it's like I know me and you had a conversation that 40 time. I was like, "Oh, it's not that big a deal," but that 40 time is a big deal.
That impacts players positions so much.
It does.
Yeah, 40 time can impact the whole draft. Now,
look back, John Ross.
I was going to say that. That's what I was just about to say. I think 40 time. I think 40 time is held a little too high. I think it can improve your stock, but I think all it shows is how fast you are. Yes. I mean, that doesn't prove you're going to be a good player. I mean, John Ross holds the record, and he's a bust.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, so I think just because you show up and you're on a 4-2, that doesn't mean you're going to be a good football player. Yes. I mean, so I think teams should be a little bit more weary of that number.
Yes.
But I mean, it does help.
Yes.
I think it shouldn't really make a decision like that though, because John Ross, I remember when he was coming in the draft, he was like a second round pick maybe.
Yeah.
He was a second round pick. And he ran a 4.22 and elevated him all the way into the top 10. That's a bit much,
I agree.
Yeah. I think if he panned out, though, that would have been
a great move for them.
But
also,
they picked him over Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
But I think in the end it all worked out though because they got Burrow and they got Chase, which is even better.
Yes.
So,
and then just piggybacking off that, just going back to just the combine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's still try to thought. Hey, it happens. The big things I would like to point out, the tight ends, we talked about that for a little bit. Trey McBride is going to be a stud. And these are guys, there is so much talent in this draft this year. You're going to get value picks like Trey McBride in like the 3rd, 4th round.
I feel like the talent in this draft is more geared towards the skill positions in the line. Like quarterback wise, there's not much.
It's not as
I'm not
top
sure
heavy as
about
others, but it's deeper.
I'm not sure
It's
about
you know why that is? Because they get that extra year of eligibility. So you have a lot of guys that take that extra year. Because like Kobe, let's look at Kobe Bryant. He's going to be like a 3rd or 4th rounder, and if
I like him.
And if I like him too, he's going to be a steal.
He's not sauce, but he's good.
Those two, they're both
good. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, Sauce is the best corner in the draft.
But that's my thing. You look at Kobe, he's going to be like a 3rd, 4th rounder this year,
and he's still very good.
In any other draft, he may be a 1st or 2nd round guy. But
so
it's
he's
just,
a 1st or 2nd round talent. It's just a deep class.
You're going to find guys late rounds that are easily day 1, day 2 guys that could in any other class other than this one.
I wouldn't say like 5, 6, 7 maybe, but like I would say like guys.
I'm saying like 3rd, 4th round,
3 and 4.
That's what I mean.
Guys in 3 and 4 could go 1st and 2nd in other
absolutely.
drafts.
Yeah.
And that now I'll get to the big part you would like to hear about.
Yeah.
It's the offensive line.
No, but hey, I would say though is that I think Bengals wise, if they could pick up Kobe Bryant in the 3rd or the 4th, I think that would be a great pick.
I'm all for it too.
I would be totally for that. I think that would be a great pick.
It's going to depend on
you
how...
want them to pick 8 linemen.
Yes, you do.
No,
it depends on what this the free agency brings.
We have to see what happens on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for some massive moves, but I mean,
the Bengals are going to sign every offensive lineman in free agency.
I'm hoping to see some exciting things.
They will have a 53-man roster of just offensive linemen.
Oh man! So there's like the offensive line. It was just they have some freaks, dude. Kwanu, stud. Trevor Penning, he looked nuts. Zion Johnson,
stud.
That's who I think they should. Well, I mean,
if
Linderbaum doesn't fall,
Linderbaum is going to be good. He wasn't. He didn't participate.
Didn't Zion play center, guard, and tackle?
He's played every
offensive.
That's
line
why. He's very versatile.
I think that would be a great pick if he falls. If he falls to 31, I think the Bengals have to take him. They have to.
If he falls,
I don't care what they do in free agency.
If he falls,
this guy is good.
If he falls, yes. But there's a guy that's flying under some radars right now, and he very well could be the Bengals pick at 31 if they need to address offensive line still, and that is Tyler Smith. I've seen him
from Tulsa.
Yes, I've seen him mocked in.
Is this if Zion whatever
Zion Johnson? I'm saying if Zion's if Zion's there, I'm taking Zion.
Okay, yeah, good. We're on the
But
same page there.
But if all of those guys are gone,
But if all those guys are gone, like Linderbaum's gone, Zion's gone, Kenyon Green's gone, and then those top tackle guys, I think Tyler Smith's a guy you could take. He looked really good, and I just thought I got a whole list here of guys just. Really, guys you could start day one. A couple guys you could start day one. Luke Fortner from Kentucky. Cam Jurgens in his beef jerky, dude.
Yeah.
He Nebraska. You know they're going to be solid if they're from Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin.
True. Yeah.
Those colleges, they breathe.
The corn shuckers.
Here's my thing, though. I think me saying this right now is going to severely contradict how I've been talking to you guys, but I do think that now this is only if I don't think this is going to happen, but I think this is only if those guys the Kenyon guy, Linderbaum, and Zion Johnson. I think only if all of those guys are gone, then I would maybe look into a different position, like corner or tackle, defensive tackle. But the only reason I'm saying that though is because some of those other guys you said could be first round reaches.
Honestly, I could see us taking corner in the first round.
I would only do that if those three guys.
It's going to depend. Like I said, it's going to depend on the free agency and everything like that.
But my thing about free agency is that like I'm just saying like. They can sign guys in free agency to fix the problem now, but what are you going to do when these guys retire? Because they're all in their 30s.
But you still got to remember, Jackson Carman's still developing, Smith's still developing. They still got guys that are still developing right now. Those picks that they made last year are still developing. I know some of them might not be the most big name things, but like they're still developing. They got time.
I think you have to go. I think a majority of their picks have to be offensive line. Now, like I said, in the first round, if those three guys are gone, which I don't think they will be, I think the Zion guy is probably still going to be there.
Yeah.
In which case, I'm taking him. But if by some miracle those guys are gone, then maybe look into a corner because some of those other guys you mentioned might be reaches in the first round. Like some of those other guys we could get in the second.
Oh yeah.
So.
I got day 2, day 1 listed by a bunch of these guys.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's a guy that we could almost for certain get in the second round, then don't pick him in the first.
Well, Tyler Smith has been he's like fringed late first round, early second. So he's a guy that you could consider there.
Yeah.
But I'd have to watch a little more on him.
Yeah. But some of these other like the Kentucky center and some
Luke Fortner,
you
can get him day 2.
Yeah, and some of these other guys that you can almost for certain get in the second or the third round, there's no need to pick them in the first because then at that point you're just reaching and passing up on corner or defensive tackle talent that's there for the first round.
Yeah,
but don't get me wrong, the offensive line is the biggest need, glaring hole. Have to address it through free agency and the draft. We have to.
Yeah,
I agree with that, but you just can't forget. Like right now, the Bengals. If you look at the Bengals, they are going to be they're losing 3 defensive tackles.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
Ogunjobi, Hill, and who?
Tupo. Josh Tupo.
We should bring Hill back.
That's the thing, though. I would like to keep one of those 2.
Yeah, that would be nice.
They got Shelvin coming back, and they got Reed.
Which they drafted him last year, and he was only a rookie, so he might be okay.
I think he was hurt, too.
Yeah, so he might end up being okay.
Yes. It's just, you got to... It's that, and honestly, if you were able to get Apple as like a CB4, that would be perfect. Mm-hmm. And
you wouldn't cut Apple to save cap space.
He was on a 1 year. You'd have to sign him back.
Oh, okay.
We'd cut Trey Waynes.
Yes,
Trey Waynes.
That guy needs to be cut. That guy needs to be cut.
Trey Waynes will get cut.
Okay,
and I think they might cut Hopkins.
It's a waste of money.
I think they're going to cut Hopkins too. Trey Hopkins.
Was he the center?
Yes.
Okay, get him out.
He wasn't that bad.
All right.
Are they cutting Isaiah Prince?
They have to. Everybody on that line last year, except for freaking Jonah Williams and maybe one other guy, was terrible. All right.
Quinn Spain wasn't bad.
Spain was okay.
He's serviceable.
I said. He's good. What's his face? Jonah Williams and maybe one other guy. Everybody else was terrible.
Yeah.
Cut all of them.
Dude, if you cut them all, you save so much cap space to go through these free agent guys that actually are good, or at least average.
There's also a thing called depth, which you need.
Yes.
And that is where the drafting comes in. Because once these I'm serious. Once these guys that we pick up in free agency who are in their 30s, once they're done, you got guys you drafted that can come in and play, that can develop.
They just drafted 3 of them last year.
Well, we need more.
That's what I said, 53-man roster of offensive linemen.
I mean, okay, Jackson Carman might be okay, but honestly, I couldn't even tell you the other ones they drafted last year.
Yeah, I only know Jackson Carman.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you the other ones.
Smith and Hill.
Trey
Hill, I think it's Trey Hill, and then Dante Smith. If I'm remembering
right.
right.
Okay, one of them's from Georgia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was there. I think he was their center.
So, I mean, I guess you can see how... I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the Bengals have got a franchise once-in-a-lifetime talent in Joe Burrow. You can't watch him get hit that many times. You can't do that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, Joe Burrow is their long-term guy. Like he's the guy that's supposed to win them Super Bowls and be there for 15 years. You can't sit there and watch him get hit that many times. You got to fix it now, you know?
The last one that I would like to bring up that I thought did really good, Christian Watson, North Dakota State. He's like 6'3",
that guy. Yeah.
and he was running like a 4 like 3.
No.
Yes.
There's no way. An offensive lineman?
No, it's a wide receiver.
Oh. I was like, what on earth? I thought we were still talking about the line.
That guy would be the first overall pick. Yeah. 4'3".
I was like, what the crap?
That would be so funny. That's like a guy you create in Madden with.
Yeah, exactly.
You give him 99 speed and as a pulling guard, and he can't do anything. He ran a 4.36.
Okay.
He's like 6'3", 6'4".
6'4", 208.
Yeah.
32-inch arms, 10-inch hands. 4.36 40-yard dash, 38.5 vertical jump.
So who needs him?
136 broad jump.
He could be a first rounder.
He was my standout.
He honestly is very likely to be a first rounder.
Who could you see him going to?
I think I already mentioned this team. I could see the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
I could see the Chiefs taking
the Chiefs kind of do need more of like a big-bodied receiver.
because they got Hill, they got Kelsey.
I think they just need another receiver in general.
Receiving-wise,
Hardman,
Hardman is like, he's not the best, but I agree. They need to
receiver-wise, it's really just Hill.
Yeah,
edge
but
too.
Watson kind of gives that more kind of physical kind of receiver, but he's also has that speed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of how DK Metcalf has, but not to like the extent of DK.
Not quite like that.
Yeah, but just like a tall, big receiver that is fast.
The edge is very packed this year. Also, you got
in the draft.
Yes, there's the last guy. I promise the last guy. It's Jermaine Johnson from Florida State.
I have heard of him.
Oh, dude has
he's
crawled.
He's been a big riser.
He's crawled up boards bit by bit at the Senior Bowl. Looked amazing, and he proved again why he could very well be a top 10, top 15 pick this year, in my opinion. So
we'll see. I guess.
Yeah, he's rose a bunch lately.
Mm-hmm. The draft's not till when? Like the end of April though.
William Mafe, Minnesota. Watch for him.
Oh yeah, I've heard he's just like an absolute freak.
He's a freak. There was a defensive edge. It was an edge rusher. Ran like a 4.3 something.
I saw that.
It might have been Boya Mafe.
That is like absolutely.
I think it might have been Boya.
I saw one mock. I think it was Todd McShay's. He had Mafe at 32.
That is ridiculously fast.
If they don't take Hutchinson, though.
Yeah, that would be if they don't take Hutchinson. What was it? You said it was a defensive end?
Yes.
Do you really think Hutchinson's going to go first overall?
No, Evan Neal.
Or no,
I think Ekwano's going to go first.
Evan Neal or Ekwano.
What do you think about Hutchinson?
I think I think he's going to be solid. I think he's going to be a solid guy. He's not that flashy guy. He's not really the flashy guy. But honestly, I could see people comparing him to like a Trey Hendrickson. He's not the most flashy, but he can get there. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that he's a little bit overrated.
I think if you get him as second or third, that's fine. But if you get him first, I think that's a bit of a reach.
Even second to me is like.
No, I think if he goes second to the Lions, I think that's fine.
I think so too.
I think he's a little bit overrated. I think I had never even heard of him until that Ohio State game. Honestly.
Really?
No, I never heard of him until that Ohio State game. I had
heard of him before then.
I think 3/4 of the reason he was up for the Heisman is because he performed well against Ohio State.
Yeah,
fair. So I in my opinion, he's a little bit overrated. I think he may be solid. He is not going to be like a Myles Garrett type of guy, and that's why I'm saying like I don't even know if he'd go second because in my opinion, a defensive end that you take first and second is like a Myles Garrett.
Yeah,
like
well, I mean
he's very polished though.
Yes, he's very polished.
I think he may be solid. I don't think he's anything special. I
can see that.
He is not, in my opinion, he is not a special talent. He is solid.
The edge that ran a 4.36 was Amari Barno from Virginia Tech.
Yes, okay.
4.36.
Oh yeah,
Barno. That's who it was.
Let's just go and see how many players ran below a 4.4.
Almost all of them.
We have 3 people that ran below a 4.3. 2 of them were from Baylor.
Yep.
What was the thing? It was 3 players from Baylor, I think, ran like...
It was Barnes,
Thornton,
and I can't think of the other one.
JT Woods.
Yes.
Ran 4.36. Yeah, this is an insanely fast class.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. A bunch of offensive linemen ran like 4.9s.
This isn't like about any players, but what... So I know they have like 2 runs, and like the first one's unofficial, and then the second one's official, right?
I think it's
why.
I think it's more they run the first one, and then everybody gets 2 attempts. I think they're both unofficial times. It's just like that second time helps give them a gauge.
Yeah, because like Garrett will not
the official time comes out a little bit after.
Yeah. Because, like, Chris Olave ran, like, a 4.26 his first one, then he ran, like, a 4.3 something. And so, like, that was drastically different.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't really know.
And then, the one guy broke John Ross's record.
But it wasn't official.
But it wasn't official. So
it went down to, it was like a 4.28, or 4.28.
4.23.
Oh, 4.23. It was a 4.23.
He had ran a 4.21.
I'd be mad if I was that guy.
I know, same. Because, like, you basically beat the record, but you didn't officially beat the record. I know.
I saw something on Instagram. I think it's Calvin Austin the third.
Oh, yeah.
It said he was on the line at 4.03.
Yeah, and the guy kept the stopwatch running, so he
ended up with like a 4.3 something.
Yeah, so he got screwed.
It was his foot is like at the line.
Yeah, he rose. He finished with a 4.32. But he's a big riser too. He benefited a lot from the combine.
He's a real small dude too, like height wise. I think because he had an insane vertical too.
How are you that fast?
I think it was like either a 4 or he's only 5'8".
Is it humanly possible to run under a 4?
I don't know. I don't think this is true, but somebody told me that Deion Sanders ran like a 4.39 one year, but I don't know if that's true.
4.39?
I don't know if that's true.
No, I would say like.
Not 4.39, 3.9, sorry.
Oh, 3.9. Yeah, dang.
Sorry. I don't know if that's true, but I have heard that.
Is it wow.
I mean, I've heard of people that run like 4.1.
I mean, I've seen that
or like that one guy just ran a 4.1.
Yeah. Very, very rarely, but it's just, I mean, that is unbelievable.
Yeah. That Calvin Austin guy, 5'8", had a 39-inch vertical.
Yeah. Jeez. Did you have anybody you felt stood out to you?
My standouts, you touched on one of them, was Watson from North Dakota State. I had no idea who he was coming into the combine, and then I looked him up after he ran that 4.36, and I really like what he brings to the table with, like I said, with that height weight speed is perfect, and obviously you can't go through the combine without talking about one of the Georgia boys. They went absolutely nuts. Jordan Davis had the second best combine grade. First is Calvin Johnson. So to be second to Calvin Johnson as a defensive tackle is absolutely insane.
Goodness.
And one of my guys that he didn't perform like necessarily like insane in the combine, but I'm really high on him is Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina.
Yes.
I really like what he brings, and I think if the Bengals are in need for a tight end, I think in like those later rounds, if like Ruckert and all those guys are gone, I would be totally fine getting him. But yeah, I mean, my biggest take was just that this class was just insanely fast.
Yeah,
I kept getting like notifications that another guy ran like a 4.3 or 4.4.
Yeah,
and it's not just like receivers; it was the running backs. Mm-hmm. And
I will say there was one running back. The Notre Dame running back did nothing to help his stock at all.
Kyron Williams.
He did nothing to help him at all.
Yeah.
He underperformed, and I think there was one more running back, maybe Isaiah Spiller. I think Spiller didn't have a good day.
Breece Hall did good.
Breece Hall did amazing. Mm-hmm. He elevated a lot.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't know, like some of these guys, like, do you really even need to participate in the combine? Like sometimes it's like, you know,
I mean, for players like Calvin Austin and
then
helps.
For those
that
guys,
obviously,
like for guys that are like already very well known. It's
are you talking like Kwanu and like Evan Neal? Because Evan Neal didn't go.
Evan Neal didn't participate.
Evan Neal didn't participate. Who else didn't participate? Derek Stingley didn't participate.
That was a big one.
he is falling down boards big time. Right
I know.
But
that's why
still,
I think he should have. I think he should have went because his freshman season he was like.
But
top
it's still
5
like,
pick,
for me, it's still like the combine.
But
I mean,
then you have to remember
it's drills, it's routes, throwing on air and stuff on air.
But another thing with that is you got all the teams there watching.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, obviously it helps and stuff. But like, if you're already a really big name like that, just watch the film because the film shows what you are actually going to do on the football field. Some like the stuff they do in the combine, it might not accurately translate to the field is what I'm saying. So if now guys that are no names, obvious or not no names, but
under the radar
guys, yeah, I mean it couldn't hurt you. But I mean guys that are already like top tier big name players, just watch the film.
But that's the problem though. You have a guy like Derek Stingley that didn't perform. His first year at LSU when they won that title.
Mm-hmm.
Best corner, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he looked insane.
Charles Woodson.
His 2020 and 2021 seasons haven't really been anything to piggyback on.
He was like top 3, and now he's in like the 15 or like.
He's projected. He was projected to be the top corner.
Yeah. Now it's Sauce.
Now it's Sauce. 4.41. Jeez.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I wish.
Yeah.
But that's what we mean. That's what I mean. Derek Stingley, his stock was clear up here. Mm-hmm. You had him. He was a top 3 overall guy in terms of talent. In terms of talent, they were ranking him up there with like the talent, like Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Hamilton,
he didn't participate, did he? Is he still?
He did.
He did.
Oh, he did, but like his
didn't he? Is he still dealing with that injury that he had, or is he? Recovered?
I don't know. From what I heard, it didn't seem like he was fully back, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Derek Stingley's his stock is
he's
still going to be a first round pick.
Yeah. Which I mean, honestly,
and another one, Kayvon Thibodeau.
He's dropped a lot too.
They're concerned about character flaws, things like that.
But like for Derek Stingley though, it's like he's still going to be a first round draft pick.
He is.
So it's like, I mean,
we'll see how he does.
And it's like, just once you're drafted, go prove it on the team that drafted you. It's like, like.
But then again, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can only watch so much film. Like,
I just think that by watching the film, that's what's going to more. Translate to because
I think scouts know that like, too.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just saying like I think the combine may not need to be as big of a deal as it is. Maybe just because, but
the combine just gives you a more accurate like representation of like their intangibles.
Yeah, which is good and all. I'm just saying that like I think watching the film is probably more of a bigger deal because. Like if you watch the film, you see how good of a football player.
Like one thing to your point is like when Joe Burrow was going in, they measured his hands and they said he had small hands.
Yeah. They said that about Kenny Pickett.
And they said that about Kenny Pickett as well. And obviously Joe Burrow's
it doesn't matter.
Completely fine. But that's just one thing.
Yeah. So
then there's like you said earlier, like John Ross ran a 4.2 and did nothing.
And he was a bust. So that's why I'm just saying like, in my opinion, watching the film shows how good of a football player you can be, whereas going just off the draft shows how good of an athlete you are, but that doesn't always translate to the football field.
Yeah.
Like there are guys that are not the best athletes that are really good football players. They don't have the numbers of other guys, but they are better than them on the field.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying film should probably be held highly more than the combine.
And I think they do hold it highly though.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying they aren't. I'm just saying that like
you don't draft the player just off their combine.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I think some teams do that and it's a mistake.
Yeah,
because John Ross, that's a prime example. The Bengals took him top 10 because he ran a 4.2, absolute bust.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying you gotta watch the film.
Yeah. I forgot to mention a couple of like offensive linemen that I was really impressed with. Like you said, Trevor Penning. Yep. his game, 6'7", great. What is he, like 325 or something like that?
Something like that. He's a mauler.
Yeah, and he, if you saw that him in senior day went nuts. He basically threw that one Ohio State defensive end into the ground.
Yeah, I saw that.
He almost got Desmond Ritter too.
He did throw him into Desmond Ritter's legs, but I think just like intangible wise, I think he's great. And then another guy that I really like is obviously Fortner. I didn't know much about him, but Joel put me on him, and I looked up at him, and he seems really good. And I think, like for the Bengals, if on day 2 or day 3, if Sean Ryan's still there, the guard from UCLA, I think that would be a solid pick too.
I've been hearing about him too. I've been reading a little bit about him.
So if he's there like day 2 or day 3, I think he would be a solid pick. Joel, I want to get your opinion on. So obviously we know that Linderbaum's like the top center, but I have seen some people mock for the Bengals that Alec Lindstrom guy from Boston College. Mm-hmm. What do you think of him?
Wait a minute. Are there 2 guys from Boston College?
Yep.
Because the Zion.
Zion Johnson.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Zion played a lot more guard though.
Yeah, I knew Zion was more of a guard. So they have a center in the draft too.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I thought he looked solid. I mean, I didn't really put him down on my name of guys here, but
no, wouldn't expect you to.
there were. I think he'd be good.
Yeah.
There were guys that I thought, like just looking down my list that I got here. Cole Strange from I think it's Chattanooga, right? I don't know.
We just saw that guy, didn't we?
Oh yeah, it is Chattanooga. Yeah. We talked about him.
He looked good. And what I was looking at, because they do like the 10-yard, right? Mm-hmm. They tell you like 10-yard. There were a couple guys in a really good 10-yard split is like 175.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cole Strange had that. Zion had that. Tyler Smith had that. All these guys had that, and I think Lindstrom was pretty close to that too. So I wouldn't be against that.
Yeah,
I think that's
I've seen
solid
him like
move.
4 through like 6 pick, like round pick.
That's how you build your team. You got to hit on those late round picks.
Yeah.
So you think Bengals taking this guy in like the 4th or the 6th round would be a good pick? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if Luke Fortner isn't available and you need a center, I think you get
Luke
him.
Fortner's Kentucky, right?
Kentucky.
Yeah. He's a center.
I would draft.
He's
that
a center.
Guy. I would draft that.
Luke
I would
Fortner
too.
is a day.
But if he's not there, and
I would take that guy.
If he's not there and we're set on the center, I think we should get this guy.
You know what I could consider him like last year with Creed Humphrey. Luke Fortner.
Is that who the Chiefs took?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
So the Bengals should have got Creed Humphrey.
Yeah.
He was there at that pick, and I'm like...
That would have been a great
I'm
pick.
like, take Creed Humphrey. Take Creed Humphrey. Nope, Jackson
He graded first an all lineman in the rookie class, and like as the best center.
He even had a vote for Offensive Player of the Year.
I know. We should.
He had a vote for Offensive Player of the Year.
If the Bengals would have drafted him last year, that would have taken so much.
We literally would have had a building block in the middle.
If they would have taken him, that would have taken so much pressure off of them this year for offensive line.
I just looked on my list again. There's one more guy, center-wise, that I would like to bring up. Dylan Parham from Memphis. Mm-hmm. Another center.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He looked good. Mm-hmm. He looked really good.
And
I think he's a day 2 guy. He'll be a 2nd or 3rd.
Personally, I really think honestly, maybe even if Linderbaum is still there, the Zion guy.
Yeah.
First round. That guy, he's okay. I don't know that much about him, but just from what you guys have said, he sounds like a stud. And
I just like his versatility.
Zion,
that's what I'm saying.
I like his versatility.
He's played all 5 line positions, so like that is huge.
Yeah, that was big.
Because if the Bengals take him, they can plug him in any of the other. I mean, left tackle's solid. I mean, Jonah Williams.
They can put him at
but
guard
any of the
center.
other 4, he could play there.
Absolutely.
I mean, that would be a great pick for the Bengals.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking. So it's like all like the participants of the combine for tackles, and there's this guy whose name's Andrew Rupchick, and he went to Culver Stockton College.
Where's that?
I don't know. He's going to be a stud though, because I feel like all of the the good linemen go from like random no name colleges
and Alabama.
Yeah. But on Sunday Night Football when they do at the college, I'm like, where the heck is that?
Know,
and he's like he's like an all pro,
tight end university.
Yeah,
he's like all pro lineman. I'm like, dude, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Piggyback off the tackles, you got Abraham Lucas from I think it's Stanford, or no, it's Washington State.
Washington State. Yes, Washington State.
Second. He's going to be a second round guy. He's a solid. His stock has very much gone up. I will say that.
Were the Bengals mocked to Falele or Raymond?
Falele.
What?
Because the Bengals
Falele is from
before Zion. They were ranked either Bernard Raymond or Daniel Falele.
Raymond, I'm a little iffy on.
Before Zion?
Yeah.
If Zion
that was if Zion.
Zion has gone up boards big, too. So
if he's
Why
there.
do all of the guys that the Bengals need do so well in the combine? They just,
For real, and then they get drafted too high.
I know. Like that one dude for Ohio State that we want, that like massive dude.
Oh, well, he's staying, though.
I know, but you said you wanted him to go so we could steal him in like the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
That
Daniel Falele that you
Yeah.
were talking about, he's from Minnesota.
There we go.
There we go.
Marco's Big Ten guy.
As long as it's not an Ohio State guy.
Nicholas
Good Lord.
Petit
The Bengals just constantly draft Ohio State linemen, and they're freaking terrible. Isaiah Prince, Billy Price.
Yeah,
they've awful.
They have drafted the worst one.
Why do they keep drafting these crappy Ohio State linemen?
Who was
Like, draft an Alabama
right
lineman.
now? There was one. He's on the Lions right now.
Taylor Decker.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Taylor
Yeah.
Decker.
Besides him.
What? Because
But,
he's like 6'7".
Yeah.
He's huge.
draft a lineman from a nowhere school or Alabama. Stop taking Ohio State linemen. They're terrible.
They just want to keep him in state.
They're awful.
Yeah. But I think, like, we've touched on this in other podcasts, that this is, like, the perfect year for the Bengals because every hole they have is super deep in the draft.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
corner, super deep. All offensive line, pretty
And
super deep.
they're also in a good spot free agency wise because they have a butt ton of cap space.
They have a lot of cash to spend.
And they have a team that people want to go to.
If they,
I
because they went to the Super Bowl, they got Joe
I
Burrow.
will piggyback off that when we talk about
If they can, if they're smart this offseason and they spend money and they draft well, they very well could go right back to the Super Bowl. Honestly,
Yeah.
they could.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can go straight into the free agency segment. So I'm assuming you guys are probably mostly going to talk about the Bengals, which I think we. Gosh dang it, dogs! This is the most they've ever barked during a podcast. Usually it's like once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once or twice.
So with that, we're gonna move on to the free agency segment of this. Gosh dang it! Stop barking. Okay. Just wait a couple minutes.
Who's here?
No, the mailman. I don't know. They're so annoying sometimes.
The Amazon guy.
Now I actually have to edit this now. I didn't have to edit the last one.
You don't have to edit it.
I didn't edit it at all.
That's good.
Yeah.
You always have to edit the ones me and John are on.
Well, no, I only edit like one thing because like either John like messes up and says that the Colts are in the NFC, or
He uses the F-bomb
yeah,
when he messes up.
or says something like that. Okay.
All right, let's roll.
So, speaking of that, we're going to move on to the free agency segment of this, and obviously we're all Bengals fans, so let's touch on who we think the Bengals should get, because there have been a lot of like players that I've seen circling around there.
Go ahead, Zach.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to say Armstead.
I'll say this. Be ready for the Bengals to take guys under the radar. Because I know we've talked about Scherf, Armstead. I've seen all that circling. They're not going to break the bank on guys like that.
No, and honestly, the more articles I've read and the more me and you have talked, I've learned about other players, and I don't necessarily think Armstead and Scherf or Scurf or whatever would.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think those are really things they should do.
You got to also remember last year how high Bengals fans were on trying to bring in Joe Tooney.
Uh-huh.
I remember you getting mad because we didn't get him because we didn't offer him a big contract. Mm-hmm. We're not going to break the bank on guard. I will tell you that because honestly, Tooney got a 4-year, $64 million. Mm-hmm. He got paid 16. It's 16, right? Yeah, $16 million a year to go play guard over there. I think they overpaid for Tooney because there's guys. this year, which we'll get into, that I feel are a lot better options than what Sheriff would bring personally, and they're cheaper, a lot cheaper, which will allow us to have some money still to roll over into next year when we have to pay for.
Do we have to pay for Mixon?
Mixon just signed an extension, I think a year or two ago. Yeah, it was a 4-year.
It was recently, yeah.
But you're going to have to get that Bates deal done.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, I don't think the Bengals should absolutely break the bank and spend every cent they have. I think they need to save some and roll it over into next year. I think they should do that every year.
Yeah.
They are a team known to roll over.
But I also do not think they should be frugal at this point because the offensive line is a glaring hole. Like, Joe Burrow cannot get hit like that. They have to address it. They have to. So I'm not saying spend every cent, but they need to spend a good amount of it.
You got to remember there's going to be people inside the organization that we still need to bring back too.
Yeah. Like Bates and Reader
Reader's already Reader's already on a deal, but I'm talking
like Ogunjobi,
Ogunjobi,
Apple and all those sorts of guys. I've seen they brought some like dudes that I had never heard of.
Would you bring back Eli Apple?
Like who? It just depends. Hey, I think he proved enough to get a contract next year.
Who?
Apple.
I agree with Joel. If he's our corner 4, I think we're in really good position.
Yes.
I would bring him back for maybe not a lot of money.
There's
minimum deal.
Minimum wage.
What's the minimum in the NFL?
Probably 500,000 or something. I don't know.
I have no idea.
The NBA, it's like 996.
Okay, well, here's the thing. There's 53 players on an NFL roster. There's like 15 on an NBA roster. But no, I think...
we should demote him to the practice squad.
No, but as I read some more, and me and you have talked about it a little bit more, I think... Jonah Williams. The Collins guy from the Cowboys.
Leo Collins.
I think that would be
if they make that trade, they gave him the right to search for trades, and if not, they're just going to release.
What would you give up for him?
I've seen things ranging from people have said first round, but I don't know how highly they value Leo Collins over there. I would give a second round swap and then throw in maybe a third or a fourth. Personally,
I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Second round swap, you're still getting honestly, you're moving up with the second round pick.
Yeah.
I'm okay
you have
with
like
that.
the second to last pick.
So bring him in at right tackle. Your tackle situation.
You got Jonah.
How old is he?
He's 28.
Your tackle situation's fixed at that point.
He's 28, and you will have him for 3 years.
And
it's $10 million a year.
That's
and
not
you can
terrible.
re-sign him if you want. I mean, he's 28 years old.
It's $10 million a year, and if you do that, and you bring in a guy like Austin Corbett
that is the other guy I was going
Austin
to bring
Corbett from the Rams.
Yes.
If you bring him in, and you make this trade for Leo Collins, you're going to be paying approximately the same amount you would be paying for a Sheriff
for one of those
for
guys.
one guy like Teron Armstead.
Yeah. I'm not targeting Armstead.
Plus, Armstead and Sheriff have their own issues, like with health-wise.
Yeah,
that's
another reason why. The more I've looked into it, the more I've said I'm not targeting those guys. I'm targeting that trade. If they made that, would be a really good trade. If they made that trade for Collins. They pick up quarterback.
I feel like that's the most realistic trade rumor that's gone around.
Yeah, I think
that would be
There's a Tunsil trade rumor. There's a Mekhi Becton trade rumor I've heard.
If we could get Mekhi Becton, jeez.
Mekhi Becton, they're going to bring in a tackle this year. And apparently under the new leadership, they're not very happy with Becton.
Really?
Yes.
He's pretty good.
He's very good.
I think the Collins deal would be a great trade.
That'd
be awesome. Because you're moving up, like you said. You're moving up to the second round.
Our offensive line coach was there when they drafted Leo Collins too.
Nice.
So he
also could get cut, so we wouldn't have to trade for him. We could just sign him.
Exactly. So if you can get Collins, your tackle situation is fixed. Both tackles are that situation's fixed.
Yes.
Then you shift to the interior line. You bring in Corbett.
Draft Zion.
You bring in Corbett. He's your right or left guard. If Zion's there, you take him.
And then you run with Hopkins at center.
Or
nope. You
take the Kentucky guy.
Folk.
What about Jensen?
Or Jensen.
Because there's a big thing going around right now about Ryan Jensen.
Williams, you sign Collins.
You got Jensen in the middle.
You get Corbett in. I think that'd be a great addition from the Rams.
But then
if
also
you get Jensen at center, That's a good line.
I like this.
That's a good line.
But then also,
what about the Bozeman guy from the Rams? Maybe I think he might be.
Bozeman's from the Ravens.
He could be an option too.
Honestly, Jensen and him are going to be asking for about the same, and
Bozeman
I think
and Jensen,
Bradley Bozeman from.
Okay, but here's
he was from Alabama. There you go.
Hey, no, here. Just think about if those two guys are asking for the same thing, then you're looking at who's more durable and who's younger.
Well, the
Bozeman's 27.
The thing is, like, you got to look at what the offensive line coach wants out of his center.
That's true too, because
the one that fits the scheme better, the one that fits the scheme best. And this year, with the guys in the free agency that are centers, there's not one guy that fits all of what he wants.
Yeah, so you have to look at more of what
the best one of that is probably Jensen.
Did we get a new offensive line coach?
Yeah, they hired one last offseason.
Okay. Yes.
I thought we got one.
I
thought we got one recently.
He is.
I thought we got one recently.
But no, so I mean, I think that would be a great offseason for me.
That would be a perfect offseason.
My thing is
here's the other thing: if they bring in Collins, who's 28, they bring in
how old's Corbett?
He's 27 or 28 too.
Yeah, that's good.
So
Jensen's
we got Jonah.
Jensen's 30. He's on the wrong side of 30, but
I mean, but center is a little bit more.
Okay, here's the thing though: if you bring in Jensen over Bozeman, okay, that's fine. You can draft that Luke guy out of Kentucky.
Fortner.
Yeah, you can take him
then
in the third round.
Mold him behind Jensen, and then once Jensen's contract.
There you go.
So then if you bring Jensen on like a 2-year deal, and then you have Faulkner wait for 2 years, develop there, and then if injury happens,
or even 1 year because he could plug in and play at the guards.
Yeah, I don't know if he's looking for more of a long term like structured deal, or if he just wants a 1-year deal. Because
I think it'll be 2 to 3.
Yeah, I would probably say 2 to 3.
I think if the Bengals could address the line in that way, so you have 24-year-old Williams, 28 Collins, 26, 27 Corbett. And then
30 something.
You plug
31, 30. He'll be 31.
You plug in the veteran Jensen, but behind him you draft the Kentucky guy.
Zion and guard.
Zion.
My thing though, also
that line's fixed.
And then we still have Jackson Carman, who could potentially develop.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point I was about to make. If you bring in Collins, you bring in Jensen, and you get one guard. It doesn't even have to be Corbett. You can get Andrew Norwell. He's a Cincinnati guy.
Yeah,
he's a Cincinnati guy, and maybe he takes a pay cut because it's hometown team.
Yeah, could be.
He's from Jacksonville, but he wasn't bad. He's a good guy. He's a good player. But at the same time, you don't need to do all of it. You can have a competition between Carman and you still got Spain as that last one, as that last guard spot.
So are you taking?
I'm saying that because that opens the door for you to sign back a guy like B.J. Hill or Ogunjobi, and then still being able to go out and get yourself a corner. A corner I'd like to bring up is, I think it's Steven Nelson for
Stevie Nelson.
Stevie Nelson, yeah.
I think you also have to keep in mind that they have to get the Jesse Bates deal done too.
Yes, and
you have to save enough money for that.
Yeah. I think that's still that you have until July to get that done.
You do, July 15th.
So
July 15th.
they still have some time.
They have a good amount of time still.
What free agents on the line do they have? So I know they have Reef and is Hopkins.
Hopkins is still on contract, but I think he'll be cut.
So would you
let Reef go? Really trying to go after Collins.
So if we let's say week 1 our starting offensive line is Collins, Corbett, Jensen, Zion Johnson, and Jonah Williams, and then we have if we draft Faulkner, and then we'd have
he's a plug-in and play guy.
Yeah, then we have Carman, and then would you re-sign Riley Reef just as like a veteran, or would you just let him walk and use that money elsewhere?
I would let him walk.
He's probably not going to want a lot, right?
I wouldn't assume he would want a lot, but then again, you got to remember: do you want Isaiah Prince as your backup?
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
But at the same time, but at the same time, though, I wouldn't
for Jesse Bates,
But at the same, exactly, I wouldn't bring him on if you have other needs that you need to address, like a corner spot.
Jesse Bates and Ogunjobi
I'm
More.
more content with BJ Hill.
BJ Hill's 26.
Okay, but
and Ogunjobi's what, 29?
But
30?
I think they're around the same age.
No,
I think Ogunjobi's a little.
Ogunjobi's older.
Like 29, I think.
I think BJ Hill's like 27, 28.
Yeah, I think he's 27.
Okay, so but 27 is still pretty.
They're
solid.
both. I mean, they both earned a contract though this year.
Yeah,
for sure,
easily.
Definitely.
But we don't have enough money to get all these guys. And I think the offensive line is the main pressing issue.
Yeah. If we don't put any money in the defense and we put it all on offensive line, that's fine.
But I'm also saying that
because then that would open us up to draft some guys.
Hey, hold on.
Drafting, I can get behind that.
That's what I was going to get at. If we put most of our free agent, we set some free agent money back aside to re-sign Hill and Bates. But besides that, we put most of everything else towards the line. Get Collins, get Corbett, get Jensen. Then I think, I think in the first round you probably should still probably take that Zion guy if he's there.
If you address offensive line like that, then you don't need to. But you would want to try and go out. You would want to try and go after a guy like Kyer Elam from Florida. You got to get, because honestly, the way you guys are putting this, I mean, I have no problem with it. But that leaves Chidobe, who's our corner 2.
Who's
the corner 2?
I was going to say
Eli
draft
Apple.
a corner in the first round, but then I thought, Zion.
But that's the problem.
I think we should go the route of signing the guys, and then if we have money left over, excluding the Bates extension, then I think we bring back some of the guys and maybe go for Steven Nelson or something. But I honestly think, do you think if we would have hammered out a deal with Jesse Bates and we would have signed him long term, do you think we would have been more careful with our money, or do you think we would have kind of gone for maybe a bigger name? Because now we have that in the back of our minds, we still have to have enough money to re-sign this guy, so we can't just go on an all-out spending spree. We have to keep that in mind.
I think it's going to be a little, and that's what I meant when I said under the radar guys like Connor Williams is out there too. That I feel is the reason. I don't think they're going to go out and go all of it because they got that in the back of their mind. We got to bring him back. He wants to be back. He wants to be a part of our program.
Okay, but the other thing I'm saying is if he wants to be a part of the program,
take a pay cut.
Then take what you're offered. I promise you, they're offering him a pretty good contract.
I would assume
the Bengals the past couple of years have not been a frugal team.
Yes,
and with Jesse Bates being easily a top 5 safety in the NFL, I guarantee you they're offering him a pretty favorable contract.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if you say you really want to be a part of this, take the money. Don't demand an aggressively high contract. Take what you are offered. If you really want to be a part of this, take it, man. He's still getting offered a lot.
You know what it is? It's the guaranteed money. Oh, the Bengals don't do a whole lot of guaranteed money, which is why you don't get a bunch of your big-name guys to go to a market like Cincinnati, because they want that guaranteed money right up front.
Why can't the Bengals do guaranteed money?
Harold Landry for the Titans, right? He just signed a big extension.
Massive deal.
I sent you this the other day, didn't I? It was Trey Hendrickson. They compared him and Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson is getting paid pennies on the dollar compared to him and his
Here it is. I got it pulled up right here. Trey Hendrickson guaranteed money is at $16 million.
Okay.
Harold Landry just signed a new deal, and he's getting $52 million in guaranteed money.
Holy crap!
Listen to this though. Trey Hendrickson produced 17 more QB pressures and 4 more sacks than Harold Landry last year.
So the Titans just insanely overpaid.
I wouldn't say that. It's just
he was an all-pro
he was an all-pro. Yes.
Line. What is he?
But
not as good as Hendrickson though.
Exactly, but that's that shows what the Bengals do. They don't give you that guaranteed money. They get those
under the radar guys that prove to be better than the dudes that they pay.
They're willing to not care about that guaranteed money, and they're gonna say
they don't make the flashy picks.
Yes, they're not gonna go out and get the flash. I know we've heard stuff about J.C. Jackson. That's not happening.
Yeah,
we got to be realistic with ourselves. J.C. Jackson is not coming to Cincinnati. Things like that. It's that guaranteed money is the big thing probably holding Bates back. His agent is probably pushing for that guaranteed money.
The Bengals don't want to give it to him.
the Bengals aren't real big on the guaranteed money. He's probably asking for a decent amount of guaranteed money, I would assume.
I think they should. I think the Bengals should probably.
They might have to change that, though, with Burrow coming up, though.
Yeah, that's why I said
they'll have to get Burrow guaranteed.
I think the Bengals need to start being more open to that guaranteed money thing.
Yeah, I think they might start to. I'm looking right now at a article from Bengals Wire, and he was like top 5 free agents, and he covered basically everyone that we're talking about. But he also added Carlton Davis on there, which is interesting.
I brought that one up for you once.
Yeah, but I don't know if.
What article are you on?
BengalsWire.usa.com.
Yeah, I think I read that article.
And then
I think I saw it. I read something about
4 free agency signings that would fix the Bengals' biggest problems. Obviously, like
I read
Armstead, we talked about
Jensen,
we talked about Carlton Davis, and then Lincoln Tomlinson.
I think what we just talked about would be better than Armstead and Tomlinson.
Exactly. I think if we do what we're talking about,
I
very
would
happy.
be thrilled if the Bengals did what we just talked about. I would be thrilled.
We should become the general managers of the Bengals. We should become the general manager of the Bengals.
Yes.
We're just that good.
We are that good.
Who? Well, never mind.
Norwell could be a good one. Corbett. These are all guys that under the radar. James Daniels. We forgot to talk about James
Corbett
Daniels
would be good.
from the Bears.
Oh yeah,
James Daniels from the Bears. They thought about taking him a couple years back when he was in the draft.
Yeah.
He's
pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guard.
Guard.
Okay.
Guard could play center too. Guard could play center also.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's so many options. Just don't expect them to
break the bank
for a big name like Armstead
which I think in the long run will be smart.
I think so too.
Them not
Chidobe Awuzie.
In the long run, that's gonna be smart.
Chidobe Awuzie this
one of the best rated corners,
and he was under the radar.
Yeah.
And
where did he come from again?
Dallas.
Yep.
And then we got Mike Hilton from the Steelers.
We were talking about that last year. We were talking. We were in the same situation with the Bengals. We need to address the offensive line. I remember me and you talking about that. We brought in Hendrickson. We brought in Awuzie, Ogunjobi, Hilton, and you're like, "Where's the offensive line?"
Well, they really did fix the defense last year, which was good. It helped a lot. It really paid off. But I think this year has to be the line. It has to be the offensive line.
I think they will because they know now.
I mean, Joe Burrow. I mean, thank God, but he barely got out of that Super Bowl having 2 healthy legs. Mm-hmm. You know,
something that we haven't mentioned yet is there's. I don't think we should do this, but as like in my mind, I think it would be funny. Obviously, like Rob Gronkowski said, he said if he moves on from the Tampa, he wants to play for the Bengals. And then there was another like high profile tight end that they didn't name him, but he said that he wants to go to the Bengals if he hits free agency. So I mean, I think they could be in the tight end market because Uzama's. That's also something they have to re-sign Uzama.
But is he
he's not a necessity.
Yes. Is he really worth $7 million a year?
No.
You don't think so?
Maybe
$7 or $8 million
maybe
for him.
That's not. That.
I don't know. I think we could
iffy because you could.
I mean, we don't have any other tight ends. I don't think
Drew Sample.
I don't. Yeah, he's not
no,
good.
I think.
So I think, and honestly, I think Uzama would be one of those dudes that would come back on a lower.
I think so
lower
too because he brings that chemistry to the team, and
he would take less money to help the team out.
I think he loves playing in Cincinnati. So that's why I really was never too concerned about bringing Uzama back because I think there's a good chance they will.
Yeah, I think he'll come back for less than.
He put like a timer on his Twitter feed the other day, and everybody's like, "Does this mean you're getting re-signed?" He's like, "Note to self: don't post one emoji." It was so funny.
Yeah.
Right. So we got the Bengals offseason basically hammered down. We know what we want.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go through a list of like a couple of the biggest free agents. I want to see where you guys think that they'll end up.
Before that, though, you mentioned Gronk.
Yeah.
Bills.
Gronk to the Bills. I've heard that.
I have heard that. Him and Dawson Knox.
Heavy rumors for that. Which
Dawson Knox.
Personally, I don't want to see that, but I think it'd be nasty.
Dawson Knox, Gronk, Diggs, Gabriel Davis.
I personally don't want to go.
All they need is a running back.
I don't want to contend with that.
Here's what I've heard.
It'd be nasty.
They draft Jameson Williams, gives him a speedy receiver. Then they sign Melvin Gordon.
Ooh,
and then you got yourself a solid offense.
You got
there.
Melvin Gordon as your
because Melvin Gordon's not bad. He's a solid running back.
He's going to make some good money.
Yeah.
I hope they do that because I want Javonte to get all the minutes.
I want all that Javonte.
Yeah. No, I don't really know if I want to contend with that as a Bengals fan.
No, I wouldn't either. But
no, I think that would be kind of
cool.
Though. Yeah, for sure.
Because I desperately think they need a running back. Plus, I think
the Bills.
I think they should draft. I think they could draft one too, like Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker.
Say, why don't they draft Breece Hall?
I mean, they could.
I mean, the Bills offensively, I think that's really their weakest point.
Yeah, because you going into the game, you're like they're going to throw the ball 50 times.
You could have Singletary as your third down back,
which is he would be a really great third down back.
Yes. Yeah, but I think they draft a running back, they're in a really good position on offense, even without signing Gronk.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still. I mean, Dawson Knox is a very good tight end.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going down this list here. I'm just going to name off a couple of big names, and I just want to get your opinion on where you think they'll go, or just opinion on the player. Von Miller has had some rumors back to the Broncos.
I could see him either going back to the Broncos or back to the Rams.
Yeah, I was going to say Broncos or Rams. I've also heard Chiefs.
Okay,
I could say
I saw that this morning.
I could see.
I hope he doesn't go to the Chiefs.
Same. I hope he doesn't.
Honestly, I could see the Chiefs pursuing him heavily because their pass rush is terrible.
But I could also see him wanting to come back to Denver.
If he does, he just finessed the system. Got the Bronco. Got himself a ring. Got the Broncos a second and a third round pick out of him.
And then
now he's coming back.
Now he's coming back with a better team.
Yeah. I could totally see that happening. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I could see Broncos and I could see the Chiefs.
Or back to the Rams.
The Rams cap right now is
They said they want to bring him back.
They do. They want to bring him back and Odell, which doesn't make sense to me with the Odell one.
Yeah.
Because you got Woods, you got Kupp,
and
Van Jefferson.
And Odell just tore.
I think
he tore the same ACL he already tore.
I think it would be Vaughn and then Odell. Like you'd want to keep Odell, but if you can't, then it's
because Vaughn brings a lot more to the table
than Odell does.
And don't get me wrong, that Floyd's a stud. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think most likely Broncos. I think it would be funny. I think it'd be funny too.
I say Broncos or Chiefs. All right, my two.
Yep.
Another player, Chandler Jones.
Ooh, I think that Chandler Jones could be the Chiefs. This is my Chiefs
because he's been getting heavily pursued by the Chiefs. Which he'd be
I could see.
Help them a lot.
Wait, who else is in search of a little edge help? Well, if Vaughn doesn't come back to the Broncos,
then the Broncos.
Chiefs or Broncos again. Maybe?
Chiefs or Broncos. There's a bunch. I mean, you could always get the additional help. Mm-hmm. Like I've heard Vikings trying to trade like Hunter, their edge guys. So maybe bringing Chandler Jones. Isn't Chandler Jones have like 4 or 5 sacks the first game, and then
he against the Titans he like absolutely just destroyed Derrick Henry in that offensive line,
and then you didn't hear anything from him the rest of the year. Yeah. He had like 3 sacks the rest of the year.
Yeah, but he started off with like 14 or something in the first like 3 or 4 games. Allen Robinson.
Ooh, this is a good one.
I think I've heard Jags.
I've heard Patriots.
I've also heard Patriots.
I've also, don't quote me on this one, I think Browns in the looks of it too.
I mean, the Browns just need something. Do you think they'll get rid of Landry?
I could see it happening. Make him a cap casualty. I've heard, I think there's someone on that offensive line that could be a casualty.
Don't you think the Browns will probably draft who's their center or something though?
Who's their center?
I don't know.
Who's the center for the Browns? Is it J.C. Treader?
Maybe.
I don't know.
But if they draft Garrett Wilson, you have Donovan Peoples-Jones and then Garrett Wilson. Like you probably need it. You probably
Jarvis Landry's a free agent, isn't he?
Well, no, they're like strongly thinking of just cutting him.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
And I mean, honestly, if you still have Jarvis Landry now, isn't much.
He's getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, if you bring in point, like
if you could bring in Robinson and still draft a receiver, and that would make sense. Then I guess
another player, Devondre Campbell. I think he'll be.
He's an interior
linebacker for the Packers. I think he'll be a big one.
I think he's going to be a big name.
I think he'll probably go back to Green Bay.
I think they would like to. but I don't know if they have the money to do that because they're talking about. I think it's Preston Smith, maybe.
Yeah, they're gonna. Aren't they gonna release either him or Za'Darius?
Yes, so that could because that's a guy that you would love to have back. Campbell is a guy you'd love to have back.
Yeah, he's a good interior. Bengals.
Go
to the Texans.
Yeah,
he'll go to a team like the Texans.
The Texans.
Christian Kirk.
Ooh, okay. This is another one I could see for the Patriots. Patriots, Jags.
He seems like a Patriots type of guy.
Or are the Patriots going to draft a receiver in the first?
I mean, you can do both.
You can. I think they'll go corner.
Because
J.C. Jackson. I think they'll go corner in the draft. And if Stingley falls to them at 21, I think it's 21. It's around there.
That'd be a steal. Stephon Gilmore.
You know
Gilmore, he won't go. I think he'll go West Coast.
Two big ones.
I think Gilmore will go West Coast.
You don't think he'll go?
I think he'll go San Fran.
I don't know why they made that trade.
San Francisco.
I think he'll go to San Francisco.
I could see
They need the help at corner.
Yeah.
I think Gilmore goes to San Fran.
I can see it.
Or Arizona.
I would be okay.
San Fran or Arizona.
Cardinals need new uniforms.
Yeah, you said that before.
They're terrible.
They're so bad.
Yeah, you always.
That's a topic.
Okay,
Kyler Murray. That's a Kyler Murray topic for another time.
Yeah, he's kind of cleared up that situation a little bit.
Every time the Cardinals come up, I'm like, the Cardinals are a really cool team. They're in Arizona. They have a sweet stadium. They're good. But then I'm like, their uniforms are awful.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Bobby Wagner. We talked about him a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about him, didn't we?
I've heard Patriots.
Gosh dang it! Why are they all going to the Patriots?
It's just the Patriot way.
If that's the thing, you could do Patriots, Cowboys, maybe. Just
him and Micah Parsons. Jeez.
But
Micah Parsons, you got Leighton Vander Esch over there too.
Oh, I forgot about
that. Would be one of the best linebacking cores.
And they need Chargers.
That would be big.
Chargers. They need that help up the middle
because they have Kenneth Murray, who they drafted.
What about the Devondre Campbell guy then for the Chargers?
Well, that could be too. Then I just thought about the Chargers out of.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zach. Jordan Davis is going to the Chargers.
Yeah, he's been. I've probably looked at like 30 mocks, and he's mocked to the Chargers on all 30 of them.
Because I think I've sent you guys some mocks, and Jordan Davis either goes to the Browns or the Chargers.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't go to the Browns.
Yeah, me neither. Tyrann Mathieu.
Saints.
Really?
Yep.
Saints.
With Marshawn Lattimore?
Because they're losing Marcus Williams.
Saints.
That's a big one, too.
Dude, the Saints are in such a hole. Good Lord.
I think Tyrann Mathieu will go to the Saints. There's been rumors.
So you don't think he'll want to go back to the
I think it'll be
Chiefs?
either he'll go back there. I think he'll go back to the Chiefs or he'll sign with the Saints.
I would I can see
the Saints. The Saints get their Marcus Williams replacement because they can't afford him.
I can see either one of those two. I think that'll work well for either one.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got 3 receivers. Ooh. Juju Smith-Schuster, Cordell Patterson, and Michael Gallup.
Cordell Patterson's going.
Michael Gallup's going to sign back with the Cowboys
because they're probably going to cut Amari Cooper
or trade for him. Yes,
Cordell Patterson's going back to the Falcons.
Yep, that fit for him.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
He's going to the Falcons.
I don't think
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh, Smith-Schuster.
I could see this one as Kansas City.
I don't think he's going back to the Steelers.
I don't think so.
I think they're done with him.
I can see the Chiefs for that one, too.
I could see Kansas City for that because last year it was a thing that they were interested in him, but they weren't sure because of his injury.
I could definitely see him going to the Chiefs.
And he took a really cheap deal last year just to sign back with it.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh. Big Ben again, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
I hope the Steelers are just terrible again.
But
I've seen them in like Deshaun Watson rumors. We didn't even talk about Deshaun Watson. We'll get to that in a minute.
He's gonna go somewhere NFC.
You said Panthers.
I said Panthers.
I would be very okay with that.
Panthers or Seattle?
I have one more player, and then we'll talk about Deshaun Watson. We'll wrap up with that. The biggest name in free agency this year, by far, Mitch Trubisky. Where is Mitch going?
Go ahead, Zach. What do you think?
Dude, I have no
The Raiders.
idea,
the Raiders.
I got you, John. Just kidding.
Gosh. I mean,
New York
I
Football
really
Giants.
don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I was gonna say it depends on what happens.
He's going to go back to the Bears and take over Justin Fields as starting role.
I don't think he's better than Justin Fields.
No, definitely not.
I
think he's going to go to the Giants.
I'd like that. Have a little competition. And if not that, I could see the Colts if they don't get a deal done with Jimmy G.
Colts.
I mean, I could see either one of those two. I think it would be. I don't know. I was gonna say I think it'd be dumb for the Colts, but they don't have anybody.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think they should give him a long-term
You could also see Seattle with that then, too.
Give him a one-year deal.
1 year prove it deal.
Bridge yourself into next year and draft a quarterback.
And that's what the Bengals were. That's what the Bengals were going to do last year with Kenny Galladay. Just a 1 year prove it. And he ends up signing a big deal with the Giants, and he's terrible.
Good thing they didn't do that.
Thank God.
Their receiving room last past year was bad.
They
drafted like Tony. He was nothing special.
I liked Tony.
But for the first half of the season, he didn't do anything.
I don't think they really gave him any opportunities though either.
And then they have Sterling. They have a lot of questions.
Sterling Shepard is made of glass.
Yeah,
that gets hurt.
They have a lot of questions because Saquon. He's been in trade rumors. There's also we didn't touch on this, but like McCaffrey's been in trade rumors. Saquon's been in trade rumors.
It's because they both are injury players.
I know. Yeah, people are trying to
laugh at anybody that takes Christian McCaffrey first overall because you know he's not going to play more than 5 games.
I saw somebody.
I traded you him.
Yes, but that was at the point where I wasn't playing in that league. Okay.
I saw somebody said it was like a post and he was like giving his reasons why you should still take McCaffrey in the first round in fantasy, and I was like, this is just wrong.
No, I think he'll still go first round.
Maybe later.
People are gonna.
If I had the first overall pick, I'm taking Derrick Henry.
That's what I did.
JT
or Jonathan Taylor.
I'll take JT
or
Najee.
Either one of those.
John will take Najee first.
I'm taking either one of those two.
JT. It's JT, Derrick Henry,
Jonathan Taylor.
JT, Derrick Henry, Najee, Eckler's up there because Eckler's
built. That's who I took in the first round this year.
I love
Eckler.
I love
that. Was a great pick.
Guy. Yeah.
But
so to wrap up free agency, we obviously I think the biggest signing was obviously Aaron Rodgers coming back.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers signing that deal, and then franchising Devontae Adams.
I kind of thought that's what they were going to do.
I thought they were both gone, honestly.
I mean, okay, I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to go to the Broncos, but there was
I think that's what they were trying to do, bringing in Nathaniel.
But that's
definitely what
they were trying to lure him.
Yeah. But there was also that other part of me that was like, no, I think he's going to stay.
Well, and as the year progressed this year,
he started to enjoy it a little.
That's why I had that thought.
It got better and better.
But I thought once they were disappointing in the playoffs, I thought he was like, I can't win with this team.
See, that's what I thought. That's what I thought at first.
So I was like, he's gone.
So I was thinking, oh yeah, he's probably going to go to the Broncos. But then recently I've been kind of thinking, no, I think he might stay.
Yeah.
This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Don't get me wrong, Rodgers deserves to be paid. Tom Brady took pay cuts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's the reason why their team isn't there in the Super Bowl.
I mean,
because they got so many big contracts over there.
Well,
Zadarius Smith's got a big contract. Zadarius
and Preston Smith.
They're both Smith. Jeez.
Yeah, they're brothers.
Oh, jeez, my bad.
Zadarius went to Kentucky.
Jair, you got Jair.
Oh, yeah.
You got a bunch of big contracts over there. It's a good team. Don't get me wrong.
It's a very good
Rashawn
team.
Gary.
Yeah, it's a very good team.
It's a very good team, but if you got your quarterback asking $50 mil for 4 years, $50 mil a year. You look at Tom Brady. He took pay cuts, and the teams he was on that went to the Super Bowl, and then you have quarterbacks nowadays saying, "Oh, why? How does he do? How does he do it?
He takes pay cuts.
He doesn't ask for all the big money."
I know. So that's.
Don't get me wrong, though. He deserves to be paid. It's well deserved.
It's very well deserved. But I think if he wants to get a Super Bowl at some point, he's got to take a little bit of a cut, because you got to get guys around him. That's just another reason why Tom Brady's better, because he understands that you can't get all these guys if you, as a quarterback, demand all this money. You got to sacrifice some of your money. If you want to win championships, you got to sacrifice some of your money, get guys around you.
I just, how we were talking about free agents?
Mm-hmm.
I just had something pop up. Free agent fits, Marcus Williams, Jadeveon Clowney. All sorts of guys just popped up on my phone.
No, but I think Aaron Rodgers definitely deserves that money.
Oh,
he's a great player. He's probably probably a top 5 quarterback of all time. He's a great player. He deserves the money. All I'm saying is maybe he should consider taking a pay cut.
Yeah.
So that they can get
they still
got to
pay for Devontae next year.
Yeah.
And Jair wants an extension.
Yeah. I mean, they somebody in that organization is not going to be able to get paid what they want to get paid, and they got to be okay with that if they want to win games.
Yeah. Last topic we'll talk about is it's actually happened yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. As Deshaun Watson got cleared from all of his criminal charges. Yep. They didn't charge him at all. So now that opens the floodgates really for teams to start pouring in and giving their trade offers. And the favorites have been Bucks, Eagles, Panthers, and Seahawks.
Bucks would be nasty.
I've heard the Panthers are pushing very strong.
I would like to see that. I think I want him to go to the Panthers.
Dude, I think that would be cool.
I would like.
I think he should go to the
Matt
Panthers.
Rule is on his last thing, though. Matt Rule is on his last straw.
Eagles?
I like the Eagles. I mean, I think he would definitely be an upgrade over Jalen Hurts. But they
did just draft him.
I know, but a lot of people aren't really high on him. I'm high on him.
You're not high on Jalen?
I am high on
Jalen. I didn't hear you.
I like Jalen.
I
think he's a starting caliber quarterback.
Oh, I do too.
But if you're giving me Deshaun Watson, then I'm going to take that.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I think Jalen Hurts is a starting caliber quarterback, but I also am not. I'm also not so sure.
He's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback that's going to take you to the championship. But I think if the Panthers if they get him, they're looking good. Because
I would like to see that.
Because you go from Sam Darnold and Cam Newton to Deshaun Watson, that's a significant upgrade.
I think that would be
their
really
defense.
good
You got Jeremy Chin over there, Brian Burns.
And then J.C.
Horn will be back.
Healthy.
I could see that if they end up getting this deal done. If they end up getting this deal done, I could see them taking Sauce.
DJ Moore.
Because they got to replace.
Yeah, and then you still have McCaffrey and DJ Moore.
Robbie Anderson.
And Robbie Anderson.
Terrence Marshall.
Terrence Marshall.
Yes,
he's a good young guy.
They drafted him in the second round last year, didn't they?
Yeah. Tommy Tremble.
He's good.
He's good. They signed back Ian Thomas. They gave him an extension.
Did they franchise tag him? Or did they extend him?
They extended him.
Okay.
And then he got in trouble. I was like, oh boy.
But I don't think I'd mind seeing that though.
I could see that one, and you brought up a good one to the Bucks though.
That would be
I didn't think about the Bucks.
I never thought about that either. That'd be nasty.
Because the Bucks, they're just a quarterback away again. Actually, no.
Their starting quarterback's currently Blaine Gabbert.
not Trask.
No.
Yeah, it was. I think he said it was a quarterback battle between Trask and Blaine Gabbert. And he said he likes Blaine Gabbert more.
Then why'd you draft Trask?
I know.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think they might.
The Panthers also have $26 million in cap space, so they can afford it.
Jeez.
They can bring that on.
Yeah, I think the Bucks may just be. I mean,
you also got. I just remembered that
they tagged Godwin.
He still has those 22 civil lawsuits though that he has to file, but it shouldn't be too. He can still.
He'll be able to play this year.
Yeah,
yes.
I think he's going to meet with the NFL.
What is he going to have to do? Pay fines or something? Because of that,
those are just money problems.
Yeah.
I think he's going to meet with the NFL soon and kind of work some stuff out and see if he can get cleared to play.
And then
because he's on that pup list, I think.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
28.
Wow,
he's been out 27, 28. Maybe.
Wasn't he 25 when all this?
Well,
he was young.
He was a senior. So he was 20.
So he went into the
he was
draft
23, 24
okay,
coming in.
Yeah.
He's 26.
Oh, even better.
Sorry. So yeah, you were right. He's younger. I thought he was a bit older.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess.
What do you think the Texans are going to do, man? They have nothing.
Rock
they
with
literally have nothing.
I think you give Davis Mills
a chance. I think they're just going to rock with Davis Mills. Maybe draft Kevon Thibodeau, kind of build that defense up.
Gosh,
and then
the Texans
just kind of
honestly,
they just don't have talent.
Rock bottom.
Well, and honestly, Kyle Hamilton could fall to them at 3.
If they get Kyle Hamilton, that would be nice.
I
think Kyle Hamilton has bigger upside than Kayvon Thibodeau does.
I do too. And the character concerns you have with Thibodeau.
Yeah.
If he even wants to be playing, because that was one of the big things.
I saw him the other day mocked at 9 to the Seahawks, which is big for him.
Thibodeau?
Because he's been top 3 for the majority of the offseason and basically since the college football ended.
Yeah.
There's a guy that really dropped bad. I think it was just because your name gradually wears, and I feel like that's something that's happening with Stingley and Thibodeau.
Yeah.
But it's DeMarvin Leal.
Marvin Leal. Yeah.
DeMarvin Leal from Texas A&M. He's all the way back into the second round right now.
Yeah,
Interior defensive line. There you go. All right. Bengals 60. Yeah. Or what did they pick at? 62?
60, trade for Collins?
31?
60, yeah. 61 or 62.
It's in that range. 63 maybe. 63. It would be 63.
Quick math. But yeah, this basically these next couple of weeks is going to be really exciting for NFL fans because free agency is opening, and then draft hype starting to get there because draft's in April.
Drafts will be in about a month,
so it's starting to get there.
I am really excited.
So yeah, I'm really excited.
Blowing up. I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, Adam Schefter is going to be busy.
I'm very excited.
Ian Rappaport.
Yeah, they'll all be busy.
This is officially the start of the new season.
The next season, man. I'm very excited.
It's exciting,
and I feel like, hey, the Bengals are finally going to start making moves here soon.
Yeah, I think they will.
They got to.
I mean, dude, I'm telling you, man, if they fix that line, Joe Burrow's going to win them a Super Bowl. Oh, I really think he will.
I mean, you had if you even slightly improved the line, he went to the Super Bowl with a line that had Isaiah Prince as your starting right tackle.
I think if they even had Riley Reif, if Riley Reif was even healthy, I think they might win the Super Bowl.
You know, the whole right side was injured.
I know. That's why I'm saying
Carmen was injured. Reif was injured.
Yeah.
So I think
Denna Jay was playing.
Even if Riley Reif was healthy, which would be a very, the slightest improvement, they might have won the Super Bowl.
I always get nervous with the Bengals drafting offensive line in the first round, though.
Yeah, they don't. That's the only position they haven't hit on.
Cedric Ogbuehi, dude, remember him? Billy Price, all these guys.
That is the only position they have not hit on in the draft.
Speaking of that,
that's it. That's the only one.
Ogbuehi just signed a deal. I think it was with the Seattle Seahawks.
Of course, another bad offensive line.
That's the only position the Bengals have not hit on the past couple of years. So it's like, dude, they've got to hit on this. Ooh. And it's it's arguably the most important position on the field. They can't mess it up.
I just looked at something too. Eagles potentially looking for trades for Fletcher Cox.
I have heard that. He's been in some rumors.
To trade him away.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He's been in some rumors, so that help.
It's gonna be fun, that's for sure.
I'm excited to see I'm excited to see what goes down here. Obviously, I'm most excited for the Bengals. I think.
Yeah, obviously.
And I can't. The rest of the AFC is really stacked and stuff now. But I mean, honestly, I really do think if the Bengals fix that line, they really might have a shot at winning the Super Bowl this year.
I can't wait.
They might.
I can't wait to watch some random team drop $20 million on Teron Armstead.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's good.
He is good, but
yeah, the more you look into it, the more
you're like
glaring, like
because at first I'm like, oh, this guy, like the Bengals need to take this guy, but like you said, the more you look into it, the more you're like,
they'll go to the Jags or the Dolphins.
Yep,
probably
they'll pay him the most. Dolphins, I think, got the most money, don't they?
I don't think so.
Dolphins or Chargers?
Speaking of the Dolphins, Jets, Texans, Dolphins, Giants, all those guys. Jags.
Just the dumbest team.
I'm just going to say it's the Giants.
Speaking of the Dolphins, did you hear Mike McDaniel was on Pat McAfee show, and he goes, what are you going to do to improve Tua's game, and what are you going to do with the offense? He goes, well, Pat, we just got to score more points than the other team. We just got to put more points on the board. I was like, that is the coach you want.
Mike McDaniel.
I texted Lucas. I said, Tua's in great hands. And then I sent him back.
That's so funny, man.
I'm ready to see the uphill climb for the Lions.
They're
Dan Campbell. I love Dan Campbell.
They're good. They're better. They're going to be good. They're better than people think.
Yes.
We'll see.
All right, that's all we got for today. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to check us out on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and have a good rest of your day.